Alright, let's break down the audience paragraph. The key here, what you're trying to do is show the writer of your article that you know who their audience, their target audience is. Who are they writing to? So you're going to find examples that show the audience is who you say it is. And you really want to be convincing here. They know who they were writing to, but you want to show them and show me that you also know who they're writing to. So, as an example, let's say we're using this article here. A couple things you want to pay attention to. Just by reading the article, who does it seem like it's geared towards? And where is it published? So we see this was published in the Daily Utah Chronicle. This is the University of Utah student newspaper. We can also get some other clues from the article. It's written about environmental impacts of veganism. So people that are going to read this are going to be people that are interested in veganism or interested in the environment, most likely, right? Those kinds of people will be drawn to this article. So that gives us another clue. So we know it's written to students, it's written to people concerned about the environmental impact, and oftentimes, not always, and I'm not trying to oversimplify here, but based on some of the quotes and the things we see in here, it seems like there might be a more liberal audience in mind reading this article. So, going through and looking at the quotes, we get some clues there. We can see here a quote that says, regardless of political affiliation, we want to reduce material consumption. So they're trying to be kind of politically neutral here. But also we can recognize that this is typically something strong on the left agenda is environment conservation and taking care of the planet, climate change, and so forth. So those are some clues that we can glean from it. And as we look at this, we're going to lay that out in our topic sentence. So, who is the audience? This is who your audience is. And then we give examples, right? Quotations. And we explain how those quotations show that the audience is who we think it is. We have another quotation here. And then we analyze, how does this prove that the audience is who you say it is? And we notice that pattern throughout this sample paper paragraph. Here's some really good analysis here. It's a student newspaper, and students often tend to be younger, sometimes more liberal. So we're explaining clearly why the audience is who we say it is. So the key things to look for: who does it seem like they're writing to based on the text? Where was it published? Who reads that publication? You might have to explore the publication. It might not be this clearly laid out. Say your article is written in the Atlantic online magazine. You could do a search for the Atlantic magazine. You can go to their main website and read their About page. So you can click and learn about the magazine. You can see what other people say about it, right? You could look it up on other websites and see, what do other people think about this? Who is the readership of this? So pulling up some different websites, you might find information about who publishes it and who reads it. So this says that it has a moderate worldview, so that's kind of like a politically neutral stance. You could also, there's a website I want to tell you about called Media Bias Fact Check, so you can, not all websites will show up under this, but you could type in the media bias for that source. So if you're working with the Atlantic, you can click on this site and learn about who they think, or based on the analysis of this website, who is the target audience. And you can even see other people on Google. Is the Week magazine liberal or conservative? You can find out that kind of information. Just make sure that whatever source you include, that you cite it. So if I use this website, I would cite this website if this is one of the examples that I use. And oftentimes this website, there's not going to be an author, so you would cite the title of the article, which is the Atlantic, and that would be in quotation marks. So I'm laying out my topic sentence, and then I might say something like, the article is aimed at this kind of audience because, and then explain that, and then cite it. But in between each example, kind of like we've seen here, you have a quote or an example, and then you explain how that example illustrates the audience is who you say it is. And then we want to have 3 total examples with at least 1 sentence of explanation for each one. So that's the general gist there. You're showing who the audience is, make that clear, and make it convincing. If you have any questions, let me know.